High above the village of red earth and rustling palms, there was a hill no one climbed unless they had lost their way or their courage. The wind there spoke too loudly, the shadows stretched too long, and at night the moon seemed closer than God. That was where an orphan lived. Her name was Abeni, though the villagers rarely used it. To them, she was the hill girl, the strange child, the witch's daughter. Although no one could say exactly what spell she had ever cast, except the spell of surviving when she should not have. Abeni had been beautiful even as a baby, the kind of beauty that makes people uncomfortable, as if it demands explanation. Her eyes were blue, a rare bone of a golden child. People often say her eyes were like the witches of the West because no one in that village had ever had a blue eye or seen one. Her mother had died when she was still learning to walk, her father shortly after, swallowed by the same sickness that left fear in awe. At first, neighbors brought food. Then visits became rare. Then whispers began. How does a child live alone and not perish? Why are her eyes always watching? Yes. She killed her parents by casting that blue eyes of hers on them, the villagers would say. Sometimes they never looked into her eyes. They told their children to avoid eye contact with Abeni, if they don't want to be bewitched. So the little friends Abeni had then, all disappeared one after the other. Because of the rumor spreading, why does misfortune pass her door and visit others? People would often say. Fear climbed faster than truth, and soon the village pushed her upward, away from laughter, away from warmth, away from blame, far away from being among them. A small hut was built for her on the hill. As if distance itself could protect them. Abeni pleaded with them. She even swore by her late parents' grave that she is not a witch. But nobody cares to listen. How can a little girl take responsibility for herself, at such a young age? Abeni grew up there. She learned the moods of the wind, and the patience of the storms. She learned how to stretch hunger, until it felt like discipline. Some days she ate nothing but boiled leaves and hope. Other days, she managed a small meal and thanked the earth as if it were a generous parent. Any day she had a proper meal, she would sing and dance thanking God. Yet for all the cruelty she endured, her heart did not harden. She is a very lovely child, with a golden heart. Her heart was as beautiful as her pretty blue eyes. She never treated anyone badly. One evening, when the sky bruised purple and the world smelled of coming rain, Abeni prepared her only meal, a thin porridge made from grain she had earned by washing clothes at the river, in the neighboring village. Far from where the women gossiped. She stirred slowly, saving each motion, as if speed might make the food disappear. That was when she heard footsteps. She froze. People do not come to the hill. Who might that be? She got scared and hid herself. A stranger emerged from the path, tall and dust-covered, carrying weariness like a second shadow. His sandals were worn, his eyes searching. When he saw Abeni, his steps slowed. Perhaps he had expected something darker than a girl with tired hands and cautious grace. "Child," he said gently, "forgive me. I've lost my way." Abeni studied him, trying to recover from her startled look. He was not looking dangerous. "You're far from the village," she said. "Yes," he replied, almost smiling. "And very hungry," he added. The pot beside her bubbled softly, as if reminding her of its smallness. For a moment, she hesitated. Hunger whispered its own advice, This is all you have. It won't be enough for the both of us. I work so hard just to earn this little porridge. Then she remembered her mother's voice, warm and distant. What you keep for yourself feeds only one body. What you share feeds the world. Abeni ladled half the porridge into a bowl and held it out. Eat, she said. The stranger stared. Is this all you have? She nodded. And you still offer it? He shrugged. The night is long. Hunger is easier when you're not alone. The man ate slowly, respectfully, as if each spoonful mattered. When he finished, his eyes were wet. Why do you live here by yourself? He asked. Abeni looked toward the village lights flickering below. They think I'm a witch. The stranger laughed softly, not in mockery but in sadness. Then they do not know what a witch is. He slept near her fire that night, and in the morning he left with a blessing and a promise he did not explain. Weeks passed. Abeni returned to her routines. She did not expect kindness to circle back, it rarely did, but one morning, the sound of many footsteps climbed the hill. The stranger returned, this time with elders, with lots of gifts, food and clothes, with truth carried boldly in his mouth. He was a man of influence, a traveler whose words reached places fear could not. He spoke of the child who fed him when she had nothing, and of the hill that held innocence instead of evil. A witch does not give away her only meal, he said. Most of you are worse than a witch. How many of you can give a total stranger the only meal you have? The stranger continued. All I see in this girl is a pretty innocent girl, with a golden heart, who can help mold your child in the right path. You people threw her away. Silence followed. Shame, too. The villagers began to visit. Slowly. Carefully. A path was cleared. Abeni was invited down, not all at once, not easily, but enough. She never left the hill entirely. It had shaped her. But she was no longer alone. She became the most talked about in the village, not of evil but of her kind and generous heart. And how lucky she is to have become wealthy because of her generosity. Some of the villagers regret their actions, and some careless. Gradually Abeni began to have friends. And although life grew kinder, Abeni never forgot the night she chose generosity over survival. It was the night the world finally chose her.